Hi, welcome to Knitoxication. I am Dallas Davidson, the owner of Dancing Leaf Dyeworks on Dancing Leaf Farm. So I wanted to give you a little tour of the farm first, and then the studio, and then the yarns and ideas of how to use my hand-dyed yarn. We're going to start with a path to the studio. Here's the studio and the studio door, but we're going to take a little tour of the garden. Every month I have an open studio and people come and sit and knit and talk and bring a picnic and sit here and knit on the patio. Flowers should be blooming soon. June is their month. This is the vegetable garden. All kinds of veggies are coming in. You can hear the cicadas. They're still with us for a little while longer. And we'll scoop around here. Here's the studio where I house all my hand-dyed yarn. And we'll walk out to meet the sheep. This is the field, the barn, and the chicken coop. I have bees in the background. We'll see where the sheep are. Here come the sheep. Hi, girls. I have some grain for them. This is Sunny Bunny. Sunny Bunny is a blue-faced Leicester, and Delilah is a Teeswater. They were sheared in April, and I use their fleece sometimes I get it processed. This year I'm using it for their dyed locks, and I will spin it starting on June. Oh, there's somebody stealing their grain. Tour de Fleece starts June 26th, and I'm going to be doing some art yarn out of their dyed locks, straight from the locks, no processing. And here's one of the resident cats. That's Marmalade. And her sister is Clementine, who looks very much like her. She's a little sucker for pets. Chickens. I get fresh eggs daily. I have 10 chickens. All have names. And they even have a chandelier. And now we're going to make our way into the studio. I made this little wreath this spring out of the dyed locks from Delilah. They were a little bit felted, so I put them on a wreath. Here's just an overview of the studio. I have minis, special colorways, some new colorways that were introduced this spring, and then it just goes from thin, my sock weight yarns, to DK, to worsted, and then bulky. Hi, I wanted to introduce you to some of my yarns. This is a cotton yarn, which is called Island Cotton. It is the softest, most yummy cotton. It's a little bit slubby, and I've knit this little cardigan, little summer cardigan out of it. It's a free pattern with the purchase of the yarn. And also just takes one skein for this little blanket, a little cuddle blanket for a baby or toddler. And I've also hand dyed some of these hearts. You can just knit a heart out of a contrasting color, or these little hearts, I just sewed 2 of them on, and I have those available also. And this yarn is 370 yards, $28, available on my website. And this is a really yummy yarn that I introduced last fall. It's called Lush. It's 70% mohair, 30% silk, and it's a merino superwash wool. It's 2 strands held together, a very delicate but sturdy lace weight mohair, brush mohair, and then my sock harp yarn. And this, I have it in all my color bases. This is Carnival. And there is a lovely shawl. This is knit out of just one skein. This was done by Kira Wharton, and it's called The Planets Jupiter. So that is a real easy knit, very light and airy, really lovely. Another one by Kira, which has been really popular, especially in the summer because of the bees, and I also have 3 beehives, so I was just delighted when she did this shawl. It's called the Dancing Honeybees, and it comes as a kit. Here's the kit for $63. It has, let's see, 2, 4, 7 minis of a superwash fingering weight yarn. All those pretty yummy colors. And you can get the pattern on Ravelry on the kit here. And she also did a contrasting, really bright summery color. Isn't it just a lovely shawl? And this is called the Hyacinth colorway. It's still the same pattern, the Dancing Honeybees, but it's called Hyacinth, and that also comes as a kit. Another shawl that I think I had about 3 years ago is Buffalo Gal, and this is a series of minis, of sock hop minis, and I also have this as a kit. It's quite large. It has 8 minis in that one. And super bulky yarn is my Slubby. I love this yarn. One skein makes this really lovely scarf. Perfect for those cold winter days. I really like it because you can wrap it around and around, and it's very soft but warm. It just takes one skein for this. And this yarn, Slubby Nubby, it only has 140 yards for $42, but as you can see, 1 yard goes a long ways. 2 of these skeins make a vest, and 3 make a cardigan size small, medium, large takes 4, extra large takes 4, and I also have a pattern for that online. So these are some of the ideas to do with my yarn. Now, I do have some kits available. This was Merry and Bright, introduced at the holiday time. 7 minis. And this was the color for spring, called Spring Fervor. I have it in all these really nice yarn bases. See, just pretty kind of pastel with aqua being the main color. This is Bebop, which is a superwash yarn, 200 yards for $26. Here's Boogie, which is a bulky weight yarn. 1 skein makes 1 hat, which I also have a free pattern called Slouchy for this, and also hand warmers, and I have a free pattern for that. And you can just download those off my website. This is $28. And then Twist, which I really like. I've knit a hat out of this too, out of 1 skein. This is 200 yards for $28. Another new colorway, the latest one, is called Summer Garden. I spend a lot of time in the garden, and I found this great little graphic. So I dyed up this color, Summer Garden. This is Charleston, which is a worsted weight yarn, 200 yards for $28. This is Sock Hop, which is 400 yards, a sock weight yarn for $29. And again in the Boogie. So how I do the dyeing, how I come up with new colorways. Sometimes I see something like a butterfly or a bird or something that just has really great colors and I'll try to reproduce it. Other times I come up with a name like summer garden and I find a picture that reminds me of a summer garden and then I try to match the colors. So this one would be lime green, a hot pink fuchsia, some purple, and some yellow. So then I start with the colors, and I like the colors kind of to flow from one to the other. So I would go from the lime green to the yellow to the fuchsia to the purple. And I put them on in stripes in the pan and just gently move the colors into the yarn, pick up the yarn up, put more dye underneath, and then let it simmer for about an hour. Then I turn the yarn over, add a little bit more color wherever there's white, and let it simmer for about another half an hour. And that's how the dyeing is done. I have a dye kitchen in my basement. The studio is just for the selling of the yarn. I also do dye classes. So if you ever want to take a dye class, I will be posting those on my website, or you can sign up on my email list and be notified of all my events and classes and sales. Another yarn that I just introduced recently is called Rhea. It's a striped yarn. It's a 2-ply. One yarn is black and the other is white. And so the black is pretty dark, so it really doesn't take the dye, but the white does. And Rhea means stripe in Spanish. I think it's such a pretty word too. And this is 246 yards for $26. So I made a hat out of it. And this is available on Ravelry. Although I think, I can't remember the name of it, so I'll have to get back to you on that. There's that. And I have this in all my yarn bases. This is Schitt's Creek. I came up with, I think 2 years ago from the show Schitt's Creek. Another really pretty colorway. This is the purples. So see how it takes that dye? It's just so nice, and it gives it kind of a tweed effect. And here's a semi-solid in teal. And so once you knit it up, you'll just see some of that black yarn in the stripes throughout. This one is called Twist of Lime. I also do fiber. I carry cordial and a merino tensile blend, and also mohair, and of course my sheep blocks. So I'll show you some of these. This is the wool cordial. Comes in 4-ounce sections for $19. And this is the merino tencel. It's 80% merino, 20% tencel. And see how the tencel doesn't quite take the dye? And it's just so lovely. It's really a joy to spin. I may be doing some of this for Tour de Fleece too. So if you're into fiber for either spinning or felting, I'm your source. Here's the brushed mohair. It's really nice to add this to some of the wool for spinning, or just spin it by itself. I also use it in my felting projects. And this is the tease water. These locks are so nice and long. This is what I'll be spinning, just barely fluffing it up and spinning it. Here's the red. So I sell these in 1-ounce bags for $9. And they're really nice to add to your roving to give it a nice art yarn effect. Here's in gray. So those are, and here's just the whole bundle of lusciousness. Look at that. So nice. All my fluffies. I'll wrap up the video by telling you about the Nuno Felting. I give classes in Nuno Felting. You can arrange a private class with me on the farm, up 2 to 4 to 5 people, and come out and learn how to make this lovely scarf. Nuno Felting is done on a silk chiffon base, and then the wool roving is put on top, and then locks from my sheep and a little bit of glitter, and then it's rolled up in hot soapy water, and we either roll it or I put it in the dryer for the pounding, and it shrinks the wool and goes through the back side and everything adheres. So here's one sample of the scarf. It's another sample of the scarf. So they're quite long and lovely. This one is called the sherbet colorway. And then this is the shawl version. And you can do it however you want. Wherever you put the wool, it's going to shrink in and form a little ruffle. But I left this one just kind of long and airy. So this is the carnival colorway. And these are the kits that are available on my website, the shawl kit and the scarf kit. So hopefully you can take one of my classes, arrange a class to come out, or if you have a knitting guild or something like that, I can come and teach in your place. We could arrange that. Just let me know. I hope you enjoyed this little visit to Dancing Leaf Dyeworks, and I hope you can come out and visit me sometime. You can find me at dancingleafdyeworks.com or on Facebook, Dancing Leaf Farm, and on Instagram, Dancing Leaf Farm. I hope to see you soon. Thank you. Bye.